The Lakers had the worst possible start to the season, winning only 2 of their opening 10 games, but then had a superb run, winning 8 of the next 10. Unfortunately, the last few games have brought on mixed results despite some convincing performances. They fumbled games with seconds to go, and free throws seem to be the sticking issue for the team. Today, we'll look at their free throw problem and name the 5 worst free throw shooters in the NBA, starting with the NBA's Twitter's frustration with AD's late game play. AD has been trending on Twitter as of late, with the superstar coming under heat for his late-game performances. Statistically speaking, he's still the same AD that was ripping the league apart only a few games back, and the numbers haven't wavered much. The problem has been his late gameplay in the fourth quarter, with the Lakers losing 2 games that they otherwise should have definitely won. And there was a common theme in both those games. Anthony Davis missed the free throws, which could have won them the game. The LA side has been chasing a .500 record for a while now, and those 2 wins could have set them well on that way. Instead, they find themselves hovering below some other teams struggling to get their season on track. Now, fans are getting frustrated. The good thing is that the Lakers have certainly improved their performance and don't look like a disjointed outfit anymore. They're playing with a lot of confidence. That is, for at least the first 3 quarters, but the clutch factor has been missing late in the fourth from all their big guns this season. Some were so frustrated, like Twitter user ADATSChris, who tweeted, "I'm going to sleep. AD just 1 free throw," and Mr. Toodaloo, who turned to give on song another heartbreak. There was a bit of sympathy too. AD played the whole second half, no wonder he missed them free throws, and others dissected how it has become a theme of late show bottling. Get it? Adding to that, AD's missed opportunity against the 76ers. We might as well recap the action because it deserves a mention, especially because in both instances, the Lakers were up against quality opposition from the East, and wins against those 2 oppositions could have changed the look of their entire season. On both occasions, the chance to win the games fell on Anthony Davis, the Lakers' 82.4% free throw shooter, and the most in-form Laker as of late. You obviously wouldn't want LeBron James on those free throws despite his clutch performances. But as it turns out, AD's following into Bron's boots, at least in terms of free shooting. After getting blown out in the first quarter by the 76ers, the Lakers responded in the second to cut the lead to 2 points. Once again, the 76ers came out roaring and increased their lead up to 10 by the end of the third quarter, but the Lakers just wouldn't give up. They started the fourth quarter well, and thanks to all-around contributions from AD, Austin Reeves, Westbrook, and James, they were 120 to 119 near the end of regulation, with AD having the chance to win the game for the Lakers. All he needed was to make the 2 free throws, and it would be game over in Philly. Instead, the tired AD only scored 1 to send the game into overtime, where the recharged 76ers would blow them away, 13-2, thanks to sharpshooting James Harden. The Lakers fell 133 to 122 to Philly, and it would have been a hard one to take, especially considering they played LeBron for over 40 minutes. Then, AD repeats the same antics against the Celtics. This was much worse, but also much more heroic from the Lakers as a team. Any glass-half-full kind of dude would tell you that there were a lot of positives to take away from those games, and we probably agree, but they also can't ignore the Lakers' growing clutch time problem lately, and if that continues, they really don't have much hope of making it to the playoffs, and even if they make them, they'll probably struggle because of this recurring issue of not making the shots. Playing against the East-looping Celtics, the Lakers were absolutely blown apart in the first quarter, and don't look like they were making a comeback at all, but they turned the game around in the second half through inspired performances from LeBron James, AD, and Westbrook. LeBron nearly made it to a triple-double, missing out with 9 rebounds and 9 assists while recording 33 points, while AD produced 12 rebounds and 37 assists. Westbrook had 14 rebounds and 20 assists, and the Lakers had the chance to complete a famous comeback against their bitter rivals. With less than 29 seconds on the clock, Davis got fouled with the Lakers leading by 2. It was the perfect chance to put the game beyond the Celtics, but Tatum rebounded the second miss and converted a Nowitzki-esque fadeaway jumper to force overtime. Once again, the gassed Lakers and AD were completely outplayed in overtime, losing 122 to 118 to Boston, and their attempts to get the season back on track were once again delayed. Moving on, how can the Lakers address this problem? Well, one of the ideas would be to get some scorers in by trading Russell Westbrook, who is looking really good recently. The decision has been tough because Westbrook has been producing some decent performances off the bench, which might be an issue for the Lakers front office, but it's obvious they don't have the legs to close out games, and they need reliable options off the bench to rest AD and LeBron. Otherwise, this would keep on worsening. and the Lakers will again miss out on the playoffs. Of course, the likes of AD and LeBron are working on their free throw shooting, so it's not a problem of ability. These players have it in them to make these shots, but the problem has been fatigue. You can't make clutch plays late in the game, even if it's about shooting free throws. They need help, and they need it fast. A reliable shooting option would do wonders for the Lakers. Now let's look at the NBA's worst free throw shooters of all time. When we're watching the game on TV, the easiest thing to do on the basketball court seems to be the free throws. Anyone with playing experience would tell you otherwise. Free throws are considered an advantage over the opposition, but making them is a completely different story. It's more than just throwing the ball through the hoop. You need to be able to block the noise out, and you need to be able to concentrate as much as possible to connect on those extremely pressure-filled attempts. Some stars in the NBA do it easily, while others tend to struggle. In fact, the biggest irony of the sport is the fact that arguably the greatest player of all time, LeBron James, struggles from the free throw line as well. So today, let's look at the worst free throw shooters in NBA history. First up, Lou Amundsen. Among the many mysteries in the NBA is that Lou Amundsen somehow made it to the NBA. A bigger mystery, though, is the fact that he stayed in the NBA for over a decade. All this is mysterious because, simply put, Amundsen was bad. He averaged 3.7 points, 3.6 rebounds, and less than 0.5 assists and 0.4 steals per game. His free throw percentage, in particular, stands out at 44.4%, converting only 268 of his 603 attempts, which is, frankly put, terrible. Up next, Michael Ruffin. The 32nd overall pick of the 1999 draft, Michael Ruffin was picked by the Chicago Bulls. No one was expecting great things from him, but no one genuinely thought he'd be as bad as he was. He didn't have any particular strength, struggling in all aspects of the game, but his free throw percentage of 45.9% is genuinely embarrassing. He only converted 200 of his 436 attempts, and his 40.7 field goal percentage adds to the misery. Then, Andre Drummond. A decent all-around player, Drummond became the 9th overall pick of the 2012 draft and was a mainstay for the Pistons for 8 years. After that, he's changed 5 teams in less than 2 years, and the biggest reason has been his extremely poor shooting. The two-time All-Star is one of the worst free throw shooters in NBA history, and the first 5 years, in particular, were horrific. Big Penguin scored 38.1% free throws in his first 5 seasons. Since then, he's improved that to 47.3%, but it's still really, really bad. Followed by Kim Hughes. To be fair, Kim Hughes only played in the NBA for 5 seasons, and back then, centers weren't really considered to be good shooters. That's why, over the course of his career, Hughes made it to the free throw line on only 186 occasions, but it's quite poor to imagine that he only connected on 33.3% of those occasions. He was competent defensively, and it was usually enough, but his career has been forgettable, and it's not a surprise that he doesn't come up in discussions, despite playing for 3 different franchises in those 5 years. Can you guess all 3 teams he played for? Honorable mentions: Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain. 2 of the greatest players of all time were also horrible from the free throw line. Shaq, in particular, shot 11,252 free throws in his career and scored less than 6,000. That stands at just over 52%, and while it may not be among the top 5 worst percentages, it definitely deserves a mention because he was a monster in just about everything else. Similarly, Wilt Chamberlain once scored 100 points in the game, and while he connected 28 of his 32 attempts on that night, he had a worse free throw percentage than even Shaq. Chamberlain's percentage stands at 51.1%, and if he had just been an average free throw shooter, he could have averaged 33 points per game throughout his career. Finally, at number 1, Ben Wallace. As per StatMuse, the player with the lowest free throw percentage in NBA history among players with at least 1,200 free throws missed is Ben Wallace. He made only 1,109 free throws on 2,679 attempts in his 16-year career with a percentage of 41.4%. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think is the solution to the Lakers' late-game troubles? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.